Before diving too deep into the entire Russia-Ukraine conflict ending under Trump, Iran getting massively bullied under Trump, some nice, fun news. President Trump is now considering making Venezuela the 51st state, he tells Fox. Oh my God. Oh my God. But I was told by Tucker Carlson and Hassan Pecker that capturing the evil dictator Maduro from Venezuela would make Venezuela our arch nemesis forever. That attacking foreign nations will make them our arch nemesis and try to destroy us. You mean to tell me that they were completely and absolutely and utterly wrong about all of their geopolitical analyses, and actually killing terrorist dictators and removing them from power is freaking awesome, actually? I can't believe it. You mean to tell me that this blue moron on the internet was correct when all these geopolitical masterminds were absolutely humiliated in the public area? Man, honestly, what a good day. What a just fantastic day. So Justin, President Trump says he had a positive call with the Russian President Putin. This is pretty awesome, actually. We'll see where that goes. Iran responded to President Trump's peace deal, which we will be talking about very, very, very soon. But first, you have to understand the consequences of Donald Trump making peace in Russia-Ukraine. So this is Putin in 2022.
Еще раз обращаюсь к военнослужащим вооруженных сил Украины. Берите власть в свои руки. Похоже, нам с вами будет легче договориться, чем с этой шайкой наркоманов и неонацистов, которые...
Right, so this is him in 2022 calling Ukraine a gang of drug addicts and neo-Nazis. That's how he referred to Zelensky's government.
...засела в Киеве.
And this is 2026, just now.
Страна, господин Зеленский.
Mr. Zelensky. The tone shift. Now, a lot of people don't understand how Trump is playing geopolitics because you probably don't watch my content if you don't understand. Toppling Venezuela cucks Iran's oil shit. Then we obliterate Iran's oil shit, which cucks China's power and their ability to project power mostly in Taiwan and obviously globally as well. It also cuts Cuba off from the rest of the world so that we're going to be able to topple the communist regime there. And Russia, which gets a lot of its cheap weaponry from Iran, well, they're not going to be able to continue an endless war, it seems like. So it's almost like the Donald pushed a couple of buttons and all the dominoes fell right into place. Meanwhile, Zelensky's former second-in-command, Andriy Yermak, was just charged in a major corruption probe, which is pretty lovely to hear. It's almost like Trump was right all along.
It was so easy with that same attitude. And I just don't think he's grateful. We gave him, in my opinion, $350 billion. Europe is in for $100 billion. We gave him $350 billion, and he's talking about the fact that they have fought. And there's a bravery because somebody has to use the weapons. But without those weapons, don't forget, I was the one that gave him the javelins that was able to knock down all the tanks.
Yeah, we're giving them all this shit, and where's the money all going? It doesn't seem like it's all going to the battle. Well, it wasn't. This guy, the second in command at least, was charged in a major corruption probe, and we'll see if it gets any worse for the dipshits over there. Anywho, Donald Trump posted this. I have just read the response from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it. Totally unacceptable. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh my God. I told you bro was not gonna fold. Listen, man, the Donald gets what the Donald wants. That's how it works. Now, a lot of people really like the idea of not winning wars. I don't. I'm more of the mindset that actually we should fucking obliterate our enemies and win wars. So that'll either happen by you completely and utterly surrendering to our power and majesty, or you could fucking die. Those are your options. You could pick whichever one you prefer, and I'm glad that the Donald also seems to have a very similar stance in this regard. He's like, listen, we could blow you up. We could send you to hell. Rest in shit, motherfuckers. Sit with the rest of your ayatollahs that are already there, warming your seats for you. Or literally give us all the things. Let us come in and take the enriched uranium that you actually already had that's buried under the mountain because of Midnight Hammer. We'll take all that. We'll go. We'll keep an eye on you. We'll make sure that you can't build missiles and enrich uranium at all. And you'll become a completely and utterly failed state regime. Now, a lot of leftoids are like, but it's not fair. Why do we want the Islamic Republic that's occupying Iran to be like a failed state? Oh, it's simple, actually. It's because they're terrorist, evil, pedophile, goat rapists, and we don't want them actually to have any form of power whatsoever. And if you think that it's not humanitarian of us to do that, my response is simple. I don't actually give a single flying fuck. I'm America first, which means I don't want our adversaries that are chanting for our deaths in their parliament every day to have the ability to kill us. I actually way prefer if they are a completely and utterly failed nation. That's right. Hopefully the Iranian people could rise up and take power away from this Islamic Republic of terrorists and pedophiles. But even if that is not the case, I don't want them to have any power whatsoever. And I'm really glad Donald Trump has the same stance as I do in this regard. Either you give us literally everything we want, or you die. That's the options. All right. So Iran responded to Trump's peace proposal.
Reports indicate that Iran has responded to the U.S. peace proposal to end the war, giving their response to Pakistani mediators. Now, initial reports in Iranian state media indicate their response focuses on ending the war and ensuring security in the Strait of Hormuz. There is no mention of Iran's nuclear program.
Oh, well, in that case, fuck you, Iran. That's the Donald Trump response, and you'll love to hear it. He's like, oh, listen, man. We didn't just do this war to get back to step one, all right? Where you guys could still go ahead and make your nukes and rape your goats and shit, or whatever. No. We're not going back there. That's over, all right? You are losing your capabilities of building nuclear weapons forever. Now, it'll either be by the pen or it'll be by the sword, but you are not walking out of this alive.
For the time being, the ceasefire remains in place?
You know, it's unbelievably weak. I would say, I would call it the weakest right now. After reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it.
Ah.
I said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support. They understand these are all medical people. Dr. Oz, life support is not a good thing. Do you agree?
Thank you, Doctor.
I would say the ceasefire is
Doctor, what are your thoughts on us killing Ayatollahs? Thank you, Doctor. Very cool. Anyway, yeah, so the ceasefire is on life support.
on massive life support, where the doctor walks in and says, sir, your loved one has approximately a 1% chance of living.
For the time being, the ceasefire.
That's crazy, man. So yeah, Trump dropping nukes from the Oval Office today.
Yeah, it was just unacceptable. You know, a lot of people said, well, does he have a plan? Yeah, of course they do have a plan. I have the best plan ever. I mean, Iran has been defeated militarily, totally. They have a little left. They probably built up during
No one's ever had a plan like I did.
Out in about a day. But I have a plan. You know, it's a very simple plan. I don't know why you don't say it like it is. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. They're very dangerous. They're very volatile. It's a terrible thing that's happened.
Imagine how many goats will get raped if Iran has a nuclear weapon.
In the last 2 months, 42,000. At least that's what we know of. 42,000 people. They killed numerous people over the last week. But they killed 42,000 people a month and a half ago. They were unarmed protesters, not at all violent protesters. And they started taking them out, shooting them. So we're not going to let them. That's the plan. You know, people say, what's the plan? The plan is very simple. The blockade, first of all, was a part of military genius, just like Venezuela was military genius. We have the greatest military in the world by far.
True, Mr. President.
And,
keep cooking,
we're stocked
sir.
up with great ammunition. We have much better stuff than we did 2 months ago when we first did the attack, which knocked them for a loop. But
we discombobulated them.
Very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. They can't have it. And if they did have it, the Middle East would be gone, Israel would be gone, and then hit Europe probably next. We're doing the service to the world.
You're
welcome,
welcome, world.
For 47 years, other presidents and leaders of other countries that have the power should have done it, but they didn't do it. But it's a very simple plan. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have a nuclear weapon, and they didn't want to go that far. If you can believe it, they didn't. How stupid? Are they stupid people? They didn't want to believe it.
Mr. President, they are stupid people. They're literally inbred.
I'll have some pressure, but there's no pressure. There's no pressure at all. We're going to have a complete victory.
That's right.
We've already, in theory, had a complete victory from the military standpoint. The military, look, their Navy is dead. They have 150. They had 159 ships. Right now they have 0, other than the little speedboats that go around that got taken out 8 a day by us.
Awkward.
They have no Air Force. They have no
Nice destroyer. I will send a speedboat with a Muhammad, and he is ready to fire. You don't understand. You do not understand or comprehend the level of technology that we are up against in Iran. With giant slingshots, they fling camels at us. Well, it's not been going very well for them.
Aircraft. Now, they probably put the shoulder jobs into service over the last 3 weeks, probably. But essentially, they have no anti-aircraft, they have no radar.
Yeah, they're gay, and they're dying. They're dying and gay. It's very bad. Now, the funny part about all this is that he's completely correct. And by the truth is, he's being proven correct every day, because Iran keeps trying to blow up our boats, but they keep fucking failing because they have no military. They have a couple of gay speedboats and retards with, semi-automatic geriatric donkeys, and they keep trying to obliterate us with this shit. And, I'm not going to lie, it's not going to work. And they are being humiliated on the battlefield every single day while we're just maintaining our blockade, strangling them economically, and also, by proxy, strangling both China and Russia, and simultaneously forcing the hands of these retards to either give us a good deal or they're gonna die. Now, again, the humanitarians, the humanitaritards, these guys are losing their mind. It's like, oh my god, we're literally gonna destroy our enemy. Yeah. Yeah, we are. Next time, don't be our enemy, motherfuckers. That's right. Sorry, terrorists. You're gonna die. Anywho, Trump keeps going.
Look, I've had to deal with them 4 or 5 times. They change their mind. They're very dishonorable people. The leadership.
True.
Don't forget it's the 3rd level. The 1st level is gone. They were unreasonable. The 2nd level is more reasonable. The 3rd level, nobody wants to be president, They say, who wants to be president? There's nobody raises their hand.
That's rough, buddy.
But
Can you imagine having thoroughly defeated them so fucking well militarily that none of these people actually want to become president because they're just afraid they're going to get obliterated?
They change their mind. I've had that in business many times. The mind changes, you call them. These people that you make a deal and then the next day they send you a document that takes 5 days to get there when it should have been there in 20 minutes. It's a pretty simple document. They will never have a nuclear weapon, yeah?
Yep, that's right. So we could wait, and the longer we wait on this peace deal, the weaker and more economically volatile the country gets because of our blockade. So we are in no rush. A lot of people are really crashing out about this Iran war. And I will not lie to you, I think a lot of that crash out is completely and utterly unfounded, where people got mind raped by propagandists and Pakistani AI videos. We have so thoroughly defeated their military, we are just waiting, and we have no rush to stop the blockade from happening, which is, by the way, strangling all of our enemies at the same time with incredibly minimal risk to us, thank God. And the retards have been so mind-raped by CNN, they're still crying about it. Now, just to understand, it looks like President Trump is considering reopening Operation Freedom in the Strait of Hormuz.
He is now considering renewing Project Freedom, but he says this time around, the U.S. guiding ships through the Strait of Hormuz would be just one small piece of what would be a larger military operation. When it comes to peace negotiations, the president tells Fox the regime is, quote, going to fold. Joining us now is senior correspondent Benjamin Hall. He's host of the new Fox Nation special, Hope Starts Here, Murdoch Children.
Yep, and it looks like things are picking up. They will either get obliterated militarily or they'll make a deal that gives us literally everything. That's right. That's how it works. Iran has been playing games with the United States and the rest of the world for 47 years. Delay. And then finally hit pay dirt when Barack Hussein Obama became president. He was not only good to them, he was great, actually going to their side, jettisoning Israel and all of their allies and giving Iran a major and very powerful new lease on life. Hundreds of billions of dollars. That's a lot of dollars. And $1.7 billion in green cash flown into Tehran was handed to them on a silver platter. Every bank in D.C., Virginia, Maryland was emptied out. It was so much more money than when it arrived. The Iranian thugs have no idea what to do with it. They've never seen money like this and never will again. It was taken off the plane in suitcases and satchels. The Iranians couldn't believe their luck. They finally found the greatest sucker of them all. God, he's so fucking good. In the form of a weak, stupid, and gay American president. It was a disaster for our leader, but not as bad as sleepy Joe Biden. For 47 years, the Iranians have been tapping us along, keeping us waiting, killing our people with their roadside bombs, destroying protests, and recently wiping out 42,000 innocent unarmed protesters and laughing at our now great again country. They will be laughing no longer. They're gay and retarded, and they will soon be dead, President Donald J. Trump. Every single one of these retards saying Trump was going to fold looks like just a complete moron right now. So this happened yesterday, and this was pretty insane, and we haven't seen Trump since this. Literally yesterday. He gets called out for a, urgent meeting with his 4-star generals.
Thank you, press.
Pulitzer Prize winner right
Thank
there.
you,
Pulitzer
press.
Prize.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
That was it.
Thank you, press.
That's a
Thank you.
legitimate.
Thank you, press.
Thank you, press. You gotta go, press. Get out, press. Sorry, press. We know you're traitors.
Very rich man.
I know you're traitors. President Trump had to head the press, leave the room so he could rush over an important meeting with a large group of U.S. generals on Iran. Oh boy, things are happening. Then, right after this takes place, U.S. President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will speak within the next hour. Prime Minister Netanyahu cut short an event at the Dead Sea and returned to Jerusalem for an urgent call with President Trump. Things are happening, guys. I don't know if anyone's aware. Things are actually happening. Meanwhile, this is all going down in potentially one of the absolutely greatest good cop, bad cop maneuvers of all time. Just in the United Arab Emirates secretly carried out military strikes against Iran. So while Donald Trump is blockading them, all right, while we have them absolutely by the balls, strangled and dying, gargling in their own blood, hoping that they could make some money off their oil instead of all their oil pipelines just bursting because of oil excess, because they can't get rid of it because we have a blockade. So these guys are getting strangled. They have no military. They're trying to make a deal, but they don't want to give up their ambitions to destroy the world because, they're goat fucking pedophile terrorists. They're pretty bad people, actually. So these retards, while they're dying, and while we are having our hands open in peace, we would love a peaceful ending. Donald Trump says we want peace. There will be laughing no longer, but we will have peace. And while this is going on, our buddy in the United Arab Emirates is bombing the fuck out of Iran. So we are like, what do you mean? We are nice, peaceful, wholesome chunguses. What do you mean you're getting bombed by the United Arab Emirates, our ally? That's crazy talk. Why don't you use your military to defend yourself? Oopsie poopsie. Do you not have a military, perhaps? Now, Iran tried to strike back at the United Arab Emirates. However, U.S. Ambassador Huckabee confirms that Israel is sending Iron Dome missile defense systems to the United Arab Emirates. So it seems, so this is insane, by the way, all right? For those of you at home that are not paying attention to geopolitics, you are missing out on potentially one of the greatest upheavals of the actual global order ever. We have actual peace in the Middle East, ironically, on the table for the first time in a really long time, without a single fucking boot on the ground, no manufactured Bush-style democracy building, no infinite, obungus drone striking in Libya. All right, this is insane. United Arab Emirates is attacking Iran while we are doing a peace talk, and Israel is supplying weaponry to the United Arab Emirates to defend them. This is unprecedented, and it's all thanks to Donald J. Trump, our presidente. Now, Netanyahu says it's time to end Israel's reliance on U.S. foreign aid. He's actually been trying to do this for a while, which is good, because I don't want to be giving them money. I'm way too Jewish to be giving money to Israel, okay? All right? Whatever you do, don't point out how the Israelis have been wanting to get rid of American foreign aid for years because they don't like the military and foreign policy concessions we force on them. You're a Jew if you point out that America controls Israel and not vice versa. Everyone knows that America controls Israel, except for, like, some of the dumbest fucking retards on the planet. People that thinks it's the opposite, that a country the size of New Jersey in the Middle East is somehow controlling the United States of America and not vice versa, are actual brainlets that are trying their best to blame their own inadequacies on something that's outside of them. Oh, you know the reason why I don't have a girlfriend and I'm fat and ugly and refuse to go to the gym? Because of Israel. I'm sure it is, brother. You tell yourself that. But anyway, Netanyahu wants to be off the foreign aid because obviously Israel wants to act in their own interest. And as it stands right now, we control Israel because we give them $3.8 billion a year. Which is less than Somali leering centers have been taking, but still a heck of a lot more money than I want to be giving them. I am against all foreign aid, essentially, unless it's like certain circumstances or certain things that we could view as a charity. I don't actually like the idea of foreign aid in general. I also don't like the argument about different countries' rights to exist. No one has the right to exist. If you're strong, you survive. If you're weak, you die. No one has the rights to shit. So, man, it's been wild watching this happen. So, Cenk Uygur, everyone's favorite retard. The media is reporting that Netanyahu said Israel shouldn't take any more money from America. Actually, that's not true. Netanyahu himself announced that himself. It's not the media reporting. Anyway, that's to give him credit so he looks good to Americans who are sick of paying his bills. Reality is he said that we should continue it for another 10 years. No, let's end it right now. All right, like this is literally Schrodinger's Islamist right here, man. It's like thank you for U.S. military foreign aid. No, no, thank you for U.S. military foreign aid. No, literally can never win, ladies and gentlemen. The Islamists that are trying their best to mind rape Americans through retard propaganda, they are doing their absolute best here. It's bad when Israel does take foreign aid. It's bad when Israel doesn't take foreign aid. It's bad when they are a good ally. It's bad when they're not a good ally. It's bad when we use their technology for our phones and our hospitals. And it's also bad when we use their technology for missile defense systems and shit. Oh, and it's also bad when we don't use their technology. I am actually the real America First patriot here, because I actually believe America is the strongest, greatest, awesomest nation on the fucking planet, and we are not completely getting ultimately mind raped by Sand, New Jersey in the Middle East, who has demonstrably helped us and aided us multiple times. Yes, despite the fact that we're giving them way too much fucking money. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be giving anyone money. I'm way too Jewish to be giving money to the Jews. Anyway, Department of War is now investigating Senator Mark Kelly, all right, for revealing classified information about U.S. weapons stockpiles on TV, which is incredible. Captain Mark Kelly, says Pete Hegseth, strikes again. Now he's blabbering on TV falsely and dumbly about a classified Pentagon briefing he received. Did he violate his oath again? Department of War Legal Counsel will review. I actually fully support this, by the way. Now, to make things clear, on my stance on treason, treason will continue unless the appropriate punishments for treason are doled out. At the very minimum, this dude should lose his position in government and should lose his security clearance. And I think a moderate position would be literally putting him in jail for life or something like this. A slightly more radical position would be executing him, and it's not something I would protest against, to be honest. Quite literally, in my opinion, the life of every single one of our soldiers that's being put at risk because retards like this feel the need to blab to the media because they are literally rooting for our adversaries in the middle of a war. Every single soldier's life is worth more than this fucking traitors. Now, before I get smeared again for this, because every time I say something like this, someone takes me out of context to make it seem like I'm calling for political violence. No, I'm not. I'm calling for justice. Not extrajudicial killings, judicial killings. If, of course, a jury and a trial and whatever decides that that should be the case, I actually would support finally fucking punishing treasonous shitbags the way they deserve. Otherwise, they will continue to do this shit, and inevitably, people will die. Yeah, people get a lot of shit flung at me because, oh my god, Nux's stance on the Iran conflict, it's barbaric, it's draconian. Actually, I want our fucking enemies that are trying to kill us to die. I know that this is like a hot take. I think that we should be killing them, actually, and it's awesome when we do. My suggestion to you is to speak to your therapist and potentially cry about it because I don't see the Donald stopping anytime soon.